Welcome to our Friday E-Blast here at Arvada United Methodist Church. My name is Amy Gerhardt. I'm the lead pastor here at the church, and we're taking this opportunity each Friday to really update our community on some of the ministries and missions that are continuing to happen through the life of our church through COVID-19, and also any changes to information. Some of our driving goals right now are to be a highly connected community, even as we're valuing this supreme importance of safety and security and wellness and wholeness, not only for our church community, but for the community around us. So it's in that spirit that we are so committed to good communication, good transparency, and building strong trust as a congregation. A couple updates from our church. First of all, there are so many different gatherings happening via Zoom. Did you know that even our preschoolers and our children and youth are gathering weekly on Sunday afternoons to gather with their families, to check in, to talk with their pastors and their leaders? I just can't imagine a better way to help even our youngest ones feel well connected through this crazy time. All of our connection opportunities in our digital calendar are on arvadaumc.org/COVID-19, or you can just click on the pane that says distanced yet connected, and you'll go to all the resources for how to connect with any of our groups that you would like to. We have music groups, our circle groups. We have opportunities for people just to link into a Zoom call a couple times in the week just to chat and see each other's faces. So please join us in some of those Zoom gatherings. And if you have a question or aren't quite sure about how to use Zoom, there's even some tutorial links where you can click on there and learn more about how to use the Zoom communication system. We also have a new prayer at arvadaumc.org. That's an opportunity to send an email, a prayer request to that address, and we will be linking that prayer request with our pastors, with our staff, and with our prayer team that has been assembled together for a time such as this. Our prayers right now are so important. The concerns that we carry on our hearts are so significant, and we want to know what those are so we can join you in prayer for comfort, for peace, for joy, all the things that we're experiencing right now. Let us know how we can pray with you and for you. We're also in the process of assembling a group now, I think of at least a dozen of folks and many more from around the country who are linking with our face mask ministry to help sew face masks for situations where all kinds of different masks are possible to be used. So if you'd like to do that or be a part of that or know someone, even in your system of social relationships that you'd like to invite, again, go to our Distanced Yet Connected link on our website. How's our giving doing? Well, we've ended up February very strongly, which is great. And as you know, we've come into 2020 very strongly, thanks for the tremendous stewardship resources and response that we got at the end of 2019. But we do need to continue to remind you and ask that if it's at all possible to sustain your giving through this time, if it's at all possible for you to advance your giving in this time, or even make a special gift. All the different ways that we can help to make sure that the operations of our ministry continue, especially in the resourcing of our staff. There are so many ways that we are able to shave a lot of our expenses for ministry right now, but as we're sustaining the resources to keep our staff employed, as well as reaching out to other families and individuals who find themselves in our community losing jobs or finding themselves food insecure or home insecure, we want to be a part of that as well. So thank you already for the incredible response to our COVID-19 response fund, and continue to know that we will need those resources as we go further into this journey. It's our hope that the Finance Committee by next week should be able to make a report on where we're going and project some scenarios so that our congregation can stay well educated about where we are financially. Also want to remind you that we are communicating with 6 generations of people. For the first time in the history of humanity have we had this many living generations at the same time. So while we have folks that are linking beautifully with our online resources, we still have folks that depend on print resources. So we are doing everything to mobilize systems in a way that we can reach people who need print worship services, print resources from the church, continuing to send out by snail mail our circuit rider to those addresses. And very soon you'll be hearing from Reverend Megan about an opportunity to cluster our congregation in geographic community groups. Might sound a little bit like the old groups that the church had years ago when they gathered together with small groups called units. Now we're going to have geographical groups so that maybe a neighbor down the street is a church member that you didn't know about, but that maybe you could help run errands for or print off a worship bulletin off of your computer. Ways to help connect with all those different generations of communication. As I mentioned, our safety and health mission is paramount right now. So there's some things we want to make sure that you're updated about. One of those is that we made a critical and difficult decision to limit any groups in the building at this time. That includes our recovery groups and Meals on Wheels. We have made accommodations with both groups to make sure that our recovery groups are meeting virtually through the AA process and national offices. And then our Meals on Wheels ministry will continue to operate from this site just outside of the building so it doesn't have to be staffed during the week. And they can pick up their coolers, distribute the food. So we are still a vital community partner with Meals on Wheels, but we will not be having those groups come into the church as we were unable to be able to limit those groups many times to groups lower than 10 and still comply with our stay-at-home orders that we've been offered in Jefferson County. Another decision that we've made that we've communicated already, but just to remind you, that we will not be having worship or building use throughout the month of April, and we'll be assessing what we need to do for the month of May. We will be keeping you up to date as soon as we know about those decisions, as they're informed by healthcare professionals and our county and our state leaders. So please stay tuned about those decisions. Our staff is now mostly officing from their home offices, and yet the church office phone number will be staffed in person by Deb between 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. every business day. She will just be picking those calls up from her home office. So please continue to pray for our church office and our church ministry team as we continue to figure out, like all of us are, how to do ministry from some new places, including our homes. And then finally, with regard to updates, our SPR, Staff Parish Relations Team, which is our human relations team of the church, has some information included in this e-blast that will explain a little bit more about the church's firm commitment to lower expenses and also create, we hope, a financial ability for us to continue to sustain our salaried staff through these months. They are continuing to work even harder and more than they have before, I think. And it's an opportunity for us to support families and make sure in the best possibility that we can keep our folks employed so that they can sustain their families in healthy ways. We will continue to keep you updated with that. We will continue to let the congregation know if we face other difficult decisions related to that. But we appreciate the hard work of our Staff Parish Relations Committee and all of our church for helping us make that commitment to our staff in these coming weeks. You know what, as we close this e-blast video, I want to make sure that you know that the responses that we are getting as a congregation right now to the work that we are doing to connecting one another in these new ways has just been met with such great appreciation. You can also go on to our Distance Yet Connected site and see a section called What We're Hearing. And it's an opportunity for you to just read some of those responses that we've gotten in the forms of letters and emails and snail mail, all kinds of ways that people are expressing their appreciation for the work we all are doing as a community of faith to stay connected. I'll remind you again that Sunday morning worship will be posted at 8 a.m. on Facebook and through another e-blast and through our website. And I will again be doing our Facebook Live at 10 a.m. on Sunday mornings. If you don't know how to do that, find a teenager in your life. They'll be happy to orient you to how we do Facebook Live. We miss you. We love you. We look forward to being in person with one another very soon. But in the midst of this time, know that God is with us, binding us together in the Spirit and light of Christ, and that we are never alone. Thanks be to God. Amen.